Hey everyone, happy Saturday. How's it going? Hey Hatch, hey Fox. Good morning. I don't know if it's morning for you, but it's morning for me. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a little bit of sculpting on the Draco today. I just felt like, I don't know, I was in the mood for some sculpting, so figured I'd give it a go. Daisy, hi, how's it going? Yeah, how's everyone's week been? Okay, I think I have all my brushes loaded up, so we should be good to go. I'm just gonna start, let's see, where should we start? Probably on the face, get this crest in the correct shape. Yeah, I feel like the face is a good place to start. I need to actually load up my concept. Give me 1 second. Gotta go and find this real quick. Just load it up into ZBrush and then add it to my spotlight real quick. Okay. Where's the opacity? There it is. It might be better just to have this in pure ref, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hey, Sharky, how's it going? Thank you. T-Rex, hi. Tazy, doing good. Started new hobby, board gaming in local board game cafe. I'm forced to get outside and meet real people. Oh, nice. What board games are you playing? I've worked on a few. Quite a lot actually. Okay, I'm gonna pull out some of these little spiky bits on the crest. Get that going. Doom Blades, hello. Mac, I'm just gonna call you Mac. Hi, how's it going? Lucky Lion, can't wait for this game to come out. Awesome. Hatch, do you recommend ZBrush over Blender default sculpting? Because I've been really struggling with the feet on my Parasaurolophus model. The only time I would recommend ZBrush over Blender is if you're trying to go super high res with your sculpture. Like if you really want to get into like really fine details, like if you need to subdivide your model to like millions and millions of polys, like I can subdivide this model to like 64 million. I can even take the cap off and go higher than that if I need to. I don't know if Blender, I haven't tried to push Blender that far, so maybe it can do it, maybe not. I think it's getting better. So it's possible that in the near future, Blender might be a viable option for high-res sculpting too. I mean, it already is. Like, you can do it in Blender if you really want to, I think. It's just there's certain things that are a little bit more convenient about ZBrush, in my opinion. But that's also coming from somebody who started with ZBrush. Like, this is how I started to learn how to 3D sculpt and stuff. So it's a little bit easier for me. If you started with Blender and then transfer over to ZBrush, you might have a little bit more friction, just because ZBrush does its, ZBrush does its thing. It's kind of weird when it comes to 3D sculpting software. I will acknowledge that. Let's see. Hope you guys are doing good. Also, Draco looks amazing. Thank you. Sharky, good, thanks. Just have a chill Saturday for now. Got a video scheduled so I can lay back for now. Nice. You can go above 100 million in Blender. You need a solid rig though. You mean, yeah, you need a good computer. Yeah. Tazy, I'm still kind of new. Tried Wyvern Spawn and Finspan, Arkansas, Dominion, Flora Shuffle, Pandemic, King of Tokyo. Plan to try many more. What board games you have made? I want to try. I worked on a lot of the Clank board games. Clank is like a dungeon. You're like, the board game is about going into a dungeon that's guarded by a dragon, and every movement you make has a chance to make noise, which they call clank. And the more noise, the deeper you go, the more treasure that you try to find, the more clank you make, and the dragon will sort of awaken and come in and try to get you and your friends. So yeah, you can play it. I think it's like up to four players can play. I think you can maybe play with more people than that. But yeah, I've done quite a few of those. The art in the cards, on the cards, sorry, and the box art for a good chunk of them now. I've also worked on Dune Uprising. Lots of the card art in there. That's related. It's directly related to the films, like it's a licensed product. So I've done a lot of the art in there, and one box cover. That was a pretty interesting one because all of the card art is characters from the film, so a lot of the actors had to approve of their likeness. So lots of my illustrations had to be reviewed by the actors that played those characters. Overall, it was a pretty cool experience. I really liked the cover that I did for that one. I have my the studio that I work for was kind enough to send me a big print of it, and I have it up on my wall here. Delta, good morning, everyone. How was my week? My week was okay. I feel like I was fairly productive. Trying to get outside a little bit more, so I'm taking walks during my lunch break. My wife and I are taking walks, getting a chance to get out, get the dogs out, a little bit of exercise. It's weather's getting fairly nice here, so I'm looking forward to doing more walking. Yeah, but overall, pretty good. I have an RTX 3060 Ti, 16 gigabytes of RAM. I get 80 million pretty comfortably. Yeah, I have so the I have a 6900 something. What do I have? It's the I think it's a 3090 equivalent on the AMD side. Let me look up my specs again. I'm terrible at remembering computer part names. Like, it's just they name them, so it's just a jumble of numbers and letters to me. So I have to write them down to remember what the heck is on my computer. What do I got? Let's see. It's a AMD. So it's a Radeon RX 6900 XT. And then I have a 120 gigs of RAM. And then what was the other important aspect? Is it just the graphics card and the RAM that's important? Because if that's the case, then I kind of wanna, now that you said that, I kind of want to jump into Blender and see how far I can push it. You should always just use topology for better performance. Yeah, I like it. If you're in ZBrush, a good low poly will help you when you're moving your model around. So like if you look at my model, this is when it's like still or when I'm sculpting, it'll be displayed as a high res, but you see when I move it how the low res shows up. That's kind of what it does to help you. It helps the performance in the viewport. If you have a super high res model, this will get kind of chuggy. Like if I didn't have any subdivisions on this, it would be a little bit chuggy, possibly. Maybe not yet. It's not that high. But if you had it really high already, it would get kind of chuggy. So yeah, it's a good practice. I would say if you're just like in concept phase though, if you're just kind of exploring ideas with your model, just try and be mindful not to push it too high, but you should be able to work pretty comfortably anyway. Tazy Clank looks interesting. I will check if they have it in their selection. Try it next time. I hope rules are easy to understand. It does. I will say, like, Clank can take a little bit of it takes a little bit of setup. But once you I would say give it a chance, and like get a few rounds in. Once you start doing like getting through a couple turns, you'll get the flow of the game, and it'll feel pretty smooth. But there is a little bit of setup because there's a lot of little pieces to like put on the board and lots of cards to set up and things like that. But I would say, yeah, try it out. See how you like it. And Hatch, like you said, you were saying you were having trouble with the feed on your para. Is that right? What exactly were you having trouble with? Just like it's too low resolution, or like the shapes aren't right? What's up with it? Just can't get the shapes right. It always looks wonky and just off. Okay. So what I would recommend to you, if you're having trouble with shapes on feet, I still have some trouble with shapes on the feet as well. I would say try to simplify it into very like blocky basic stuff. Like I can do one really quick. Let me see what I can transform into a quick mesh here. Because sometimes like I said, I still do struggle a little bit. Like feet and hands are complicated structures. They're some of the most complicated structures in the whole model. So it's understandable that they're kind of rough, you know. Let's get the incentives off. So what I would do is just start blocking this stuff out as boxes, really. Like kind of, if you can get a good diagram of like your the bones of the foot of your para. There should be quite a few good resources out there. What I would do is just start blocking things out as basic forms. So I like to think of the metatarsals as a big block. And then you come down here to start going into the toes. And one thing that helps with the toe shapes is, so this is just a brick basically, but if you want to get the toe shape a little bit closer to what it would actually be, you can go in and taper the top a little bit. Oh, I gotta mask this better. Taper the top of this. Ew, why is it still grabbing that vertice? You can taper the top of this a little bit so it feels more like a trapezoid. Let me auto group this. just pay really close attention to the size of the bones. Hadrosaur feet are kind of weird, in that their bones kind of get a little, the toe bones can get kind of compressed near the end here. They're not like theropod feet have more like evenly distributed like lengths along their toes. Once you have one of these, you can duplicate one. And then you can adjust, you'll have to adjust the number of bones in here. But this sort of structure will give you like a solid starting point. You can start putting like the soft tissue stuff on there. It'll at least give you like a structure to reference back to. That way, in case some of your forms start to feel like a little bit mushy, you can always just look back to this for proportion and check against it. Another nice thing you can do if you want to get a little bit more accurate is you can start adding a little bit of shape to this to get it closer to the bone shape. We auto group things again. Just a little bit of a taper in the middle can help. It's not really necessary though. Yeah, try it out. See how it helps. See if it helps. For me, that's kind of what I do when the shapes of a certain area are not looking like what I want really. I'll just kind of break it down into simple stuff and just focus on form. Hey, Erwin, thank you so much. Add Dinosuchus, I'll donate 500. I mean, we have Puru. He's our big croc. Our big crocodilian. Yeah, Hatch, no problem. I mean, if you have any other, if you keep having issues with it, you can message me or something, and I can try to help you out if you want. Just want to emphasize this fenestra just a little bit. I don't want to make it too shrink wrappy, but I need a little bit of a landmark there. Yeah, I'm gonna use pure ref because the overlay here is getting on my nerves. That's a lot better. Much, much better. This crease in the corner of the mouth I need to get rid of. I think that's left over from when I closed the mouth just slightly. So I want more of a bird-like sort of corner here. This corner, this little like overhang. So this is the jugal bone here. This little overhang here is where I like to start the lips from. So we'll just emphasize those a little bit. I like to give a little bit of indication of where the kind of the tissue of the lips kind of starts and stops just a little bit. You can see it a lot on like monitor lizards, especially over time when they're like biting onto stuff. You'll get compression in the lip area here. Like when they bite down onto something, you can see those little wrinkles that happen up here on their mouth. I like to include that little detail. This will affect some of the scale flow as well later on. So it's helpful to add it. And then let's see. There's a lot of stuff left to like explore, I guess. Like the concept does show a lot of what's going on, but it doesn't show the final like surface detail of everything. So stuff like this little area here, I still have room to kind of explore and figure out what exactly is going to happen to these little points. Like what the surface really looks like. Like, is it super smooth? Does it have like ridges to it? Is it very thin and like razor shaped? You know, like does it look very sharp, or is it more like rounded? And so there's a little bit of room there to figure things out still. Optic. I wish I was more fluent in emoji. I'm assuming those are good things. Hearts and ghosts. I'm a fan of ghosts. All right, let's get some wrinkles started. At least the gesture of some suggestion of some. I'm pretty sure, did I not add my wrinkle brush in here? So I'm starting, I'm just trying to map out a flow for this. Just trying to think of where the skin would be pulling and where it would be sort of looser. Thinking about the motion of the animal, like when it turns its head, when it moves its head up and down, where does the skin bunch up and where does it stay tight? Little things like that help me map out where the wrinkles are actually going to show up. I have to change the shape of the dewlap here really quick. The hardest part about doing all this stuff is getting all your details onto the surface while not ruining your structure beneath it, because it's very easy to go overboard. You can always go back, you know, like if I do mess up something, I can always go back and reinforce it, but I would rather be careful, right? Am I the only one working on models? Also, do I rig and animate them? No, we actually recently, Bohuslav is the artist that worked on the character models for the game. He's helping me out with taking some of the dinos. So the way it works is I do the concepts. So like this concept, right? Like this. Try and get it as detailed as possible. And then if I need to, I pass it off to Bohuslav. And then he'll start making the model based off the concept. Because the whole idea is we want to make sure that our models, even though multiple people might be working on them, we want to make sure that they look really consistent. like ideally at the end of the day, when you are looking at the models in game and they're standing next to each other, let's say, you shouldn't be able to tell that one model was worked on by me or one model was worked on by Bohuslav. They should all have a unified look to them. So that's sort of the goal. But yeah, he is currently working on the Packy. So I did the concept for the Packy, and he's modeling, or he's sculpting that up right now. It's looking pretty good so far. I think you guys will probably get a peek at that at the end of the month, maybe the monthly update. But yeah, it's currently there's only two of us, I believe. I don't do any of the rigging or the animations. That's a different person. I think we have a couple different animators. I wish I mean, I will rig stuff just to like pose it out in and do like promo images, you know, like stuff for thumbnails, stuff for like just showing off the models and stuff like that. I don't really know how to animate yet. I don't think I really want to push myself to like, I don't want to be like a professional animator, you know? That's not really my goal, but it would be cool, you know, every now and then to just have like a basic walk cycle or something for my models, like just have fun with it. And that way I don't really want to be like a pro animator. I've always admired the patience that animators have for doing what they do. I don't think my patience is not for, you know, that. Like I have a lot of patience for other things, like I can spend days doing you know, textures on something, or like scales or something like that. Like that's where my patience kind of expresses itself, I guess. But if I have to like repeatedly like think about the same motion over and over and over again, I think I would go nuts probably. So it's probably best that I stay in my lane. It helps, you know, it helps to know a little bit about animation though, like when you're working in a team, if you want to be more of like a generalist, or even if you want more of like a leadership role, it helps very much to learn what comes before you, what comes after you in the process, because you can help to create smoother transitions between your step and the step that's coming up. And it's just super helpful in a team setting, because you can help make somebody's life easier. You can tell other people what you need to make your life easier. Yeah, it just helps with communication. It helps like if you speak a little animator and you speak a little concept artist, it helps you be a better sculptor, you know. Oh, I finally get to see you do wrinkles. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if you've seen me do wrinkles on other models before. But the process is, I kind of, yeah, I just do like exploratory, like sketching on the surface. I'd say like it's more like drawing. I'm drawing the wrinkles, just testing out potential ideas. If I don't like them, I erase them. If they look okay, I leave them there. A lot of it is just about making like noise, interesting noise on the surface. Like interesting little bumpy textures, interesting little dips and, you know, little valleys and high points. And then from that kind of chaos, can be a little bit chaotic. I kind of pick and choose what I like, what I want to emphasize. So there'll be like, you know, one of these little wrinkles here, I might choose to emphasize more than another one. It's a little bit of a light touch at first. I'm still kind of... I would still consider this kind of sketching. I'm not really committing too hard to anything just yet. The hard thing is, the one thing that I want to avoid is being super repetitive. So the thing that I'm constantly trying to look out for is, do I have my, I don't know if I have my pen. Let me launch it real quick. The thing I'm trying to be more conscious of is very repeated things, because it can happen really easily. So like right now, see this? There's one wrinkle, two wrinkle, three wrinkle. Like they're all fairly, they're all the same thickness, and they're all going in the same direction. So they're creating the triple sort of line thing. That's not good. That's an area that I need to revisit and switch up. So it'd be better if I, like, maybe I decide like what to keep and what to get rid of. So like maybe I keep this because I like this shape, but maybe instead of having this here, maybe there's just another wrinkle that comes like this. You know, like I'm trying to break up that flow. Maybe there's like a wiggly wrinkle that comes across it to break it up. Something to break the regularity. It's all about variation a good chunk of the time. So you can come back and let me see what do I want to do. Where is my, there it is. I can come back and like crisscross this, change the direction a little bit. These are these are newer brushes that I made, so it's kind of, I'm still getting used to like where they are. With areas like the neck, it's really easy to fix that sort of repetition like issue, because there's so many, the head moves in so many different ways, and it can create so many different like patterns in the skin. So you can really get away with like doing a crazy sort of like kind of a random mark, you know, like that. It'll look pretty natural anyway, because there's just so much going on. In other areas that are more simplified, like the torso is fairly still. You might get a little bit of compression here because the leg moving back and forth here because of the arm, but this area here is not too much, so it's a little bit harder to deal with stuff there. But the neck isn't too much of a problem. I actually like this little mark here. But usually, like, I try to find I try not to like stress too much about it. Like, I try to find a good flow first, and then later on, when I'm kind of nearing more of like an area where I feel like it looks good, I'm comfortable with the general flow of everything, then I'll come back and start looking for little issues like that. Like, is there any place that's too repetitive? Do I need to break up anything? Variables that I like to think about are, especially just specifically about wrinkles, is, you know, the repetition, of course. Repeated patterns. The thickness of the wrinkle. So you need to have a good mix. Good mix of thick and thin. You think about it like line weight. Depth. So like each wrinkle is like got a height to it. Like the deeper wrinkles are kind of higher above the surface, and then you have like shallow wrinkles that are sort of just slight little bumps on the surface. So you want a good mix of that as well. Wrinkles that are very strong, like you see this wrinkle here, that's pretty strong. This wrinkle here is pretty strong, but you also want to keep the subtlety too. The smaller wrinkles here matter as well. You don't want all of these to be strong, because if you do that, you're going to ruin your form. You're going to make the model look super noisy. You can't really have that. Let's see, am I forgetting anything else? And just the flow, like making sure the flow makes sense. You want everything to work with the form of the animal, make sense in terms of like, how does the animal work? How does it move? The gravity. Maybe I should have added gravity to that list. Like, where does gravity affect the wrinkle most? Where is it not too big of a issue? So that a lot of that is what's going through my mind when I'm working on stuff like this. Can seem like a lot. Can seem like a lot to think about all at once, but I don't know. I feel like you get used to it. Do I have gravity turned on always? No, not always. I only have gravity turned on usually near the end. It depends on the brush as well. Like if I'm just sketching in a wrinkle flow, it's normally like standard brush. Like I have the normal standard brush, or I have my custom little standard brush here, which is just like, it's a finer standard brush, and it cuts in rather than build up. But these brushes don't have any, they're purely just like line art sort of things, like drawing. They don't have any gravity to them. When I think about gravity more is once, like in areas like this where like it's more well established, like what's going on. It's more like a refining pass. I'll do something like, I do have my gravity brush here, and I'll come in and I'll pick areas like this area here is probably where it'll be a little bit heavier. I'll go over areas again. This is a newer brush that I made. This one also has gravity. I'll come back and I'll have select areas that I'm thinking about, and I'll just come back and re-emphasize those with gravity. Some areas that are really nice to, this skin folds brush, I didn't make this. This is from ZBrush Guides. This brush is really nice. It's a little bit powerful, but this is nice if you want to get a good wrinkle in areas like this. Like I like to use it on the torso a lot, but I think this has gravity built in. I think, yeah, it's pretty strong too. It's maxed out. So this one I got to be careful with because it can get a little out of control. The other ones I have are just kind of subtle. That's not very strong gravity on them. Any ideas on what kind of colors we might see on the Draco? Depends. Like I feel like we're still trying to find a good balance with our skins. Thinking about not just the Draco but the other skins as well. Currently we're working on skins kind of by biome. Hey Kivarsha, how's it going? So like we're considering the biome first. Like what biome do we want to like biome as a theme? So we ask ourselves, okay, what biome is this skin in? And then we base those colors off the biomes. So if you're thinking about like a swamp biome, then you're gonna get more like earthy greenish colors. Like, you know, they're gonna be a little bit more muted. If we're looking at a jungle biome, you might be able to get away with a little bit more flashy, sort of more saturation, more like unconventional colors, you know, things like that. If we're going for a desert biome, then that's where you're going to get more of like the rusty oranges and tan and brown, you know, that sort of thing. So it's kind of by biome. We have certain themes. But the other thing that's kind of difficult, I think we'll probably have to weigh this out. The longer we have time on the game, right, is just like we want to make sure that these skins make sense in the game, make sense for the biome that they're in. They have a certain amount of utility, right? Like, because like the skins help you blend in. So they need to be useful somewhat as like camouflage. but we also don't want them to be repetitive. You know, we don't want to, you know, have 50 swamp skins distributed, or you know, over the course of all of our species, and then have them all look the same. You know. So we'll have to see exactly how we adjust to mitigate that, but as of right now, that's kind of how we're going about the skin process. As far as like colors, I feel like you can play around with stuff more when it's got these display structures like crests. So this will probably be something eye-catching, you know, like more saturated color here around the face, around the, you know, the dewlap, and then, you know, whatever sort of environmental splotchy, you know, helping it be a predator, right? So maybe something to blend in with the environment more around here. But you know, I don't know. It kind of depends on what our skin designers and I, possibly, if I do any skin designs as well, are gonna come up with. Thank you, Kivarsha. I love the color palettes you did for Peru. Oh, thank you. I think 2 of those were Yuroslav. I did do some concepts on stream, but I think the 2 of them that are currently on the model as like skins are Yaroslav's, and one of them, like the like snowy one, is mine. I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. Oh, thank you. Smogsy. Okay, you're just answering a question. Really curious about how the Draco is going to sound. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I'm curious about that as well. Will there be sexual dimorphism? Yes. In the concept, we have 2 versions. So we have the male and we have the female, and we have some subtle variations between them. Like, you know, the female doesn't have the spikies on the crest. There's a little bit smaller crest, and the dewlap is gone. And then we have probably, like, we don't have as much, we have some spines, but they're not as long as the males. Stuff like that. Hatch, you guys really need to add Parasaurolophus to the game. Don't we have some sort of equivalent though? We have some kind of Hadrosaur. We should have some. I don't have the lineup with me right now. Hold on. Let me grab one. Let me grab it. Iguanodon, Arano. What is this? Corythosaurus, or maybe like Allura Titan or something? I don't know. I'm looking at the silhouettes here. So yeah, no, you're right. No, like Saurolophine. I'm assuming that niche is just occupied by one of the other iguanodontids here, or the Alluro, or whatever this is. I can't tell by the silhouette. It's just a very big crested hadrosaur. Yeah, Parasaurolophus itself is not on the roster. No, you're right. That's the thing, though. It's like there's so many cool dinosaurs. You know, we gotta pick the ones that we think are gonna do well and the ones that fit the game. And you know, I know Furious has spent a lot of time considering what he wants. You know, what he thinks is gonna work in the game and complement each other, and you know, work with the mechanics that we have. So you know, I don't know. Maybe that's not out of the question in the future. You know, somewhere down the line, maybe they add a Parasaurolophus as like some sort of expansion or something. I don't know. Nice to see the lesser known relative of Dilo getting some representation. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I like that aspect of the game, like that it's choosing to shine a light on some lesser known species. I think it's something cool that dinosaur games have the opportunity to do, is like do a little bit of education, like expose people that might not otherwise, you know, dig into it. You know, let them know, hey, there's this dinosaur that lived as well. You know. You never know, like this dinosaur could become someone's new favorite, you know, just simply because they have it in the game, or they make new memories by playing the game with their friends, and they remember this dinosaur because of that. You know, there's lots of cool stuff that can happen because of what the game is choosing to highlight, and what it's not choosing to highlight as well, I suppose. Some prehistoric fish in the game would be great in the future. We do have prehistoric fish. I think we have at least one that will be playable in the future. Marine reptiles, I don't know. We have a big amphibian. And then we have the, you know, the our crocs, of course. But yeah, we do have some fish. Yeah, I don't see like mosasaurs or ichthyosaurs in here. But you never know. Maybe that's also an expansion or something later. Who knows? See you later, Hatch. Have a good weekend. Are Puru's animations done? You know, I'm not sure. I know they are. There's quite a lot of them now. But I'm not sure to what degree of completeness they all are. Yeah, I think you might be able to see some of them on the last one of the updates that went out. You can see more of the Peru stuff, and then whenever Furious streams, I think he shows a lot of that stuff. lot of the Peru animations. I think I need more resolution. This level of detail is not going to be, it's not reading, it's getting a little crunchy. And then this area here, that's an area that I might need to optimize more in the low poly. You might need to adjust the low poly, but that'll be future stuff. I think as long as I can get it to a decent subdivision in here, I think the high poly will be fine. I'm just adding some, this area of the model doesn't get a lot of, because this is just muscle. Like this area here is muscle attaching to the back of the jaw. It's going to be, the volume is going to be pretty consistent no matter what. It'll probably like bulge out or get slightly bigger when depending on if the jaw's closed or open. But there's not a lot of like compression and stuff like that. So you're not going to see like a crazy amount of wrinkles or anything on the surface there. But I do want some like surface noise. That's what I'm adding. I could have sworn. Where is my other brush? There it is. Oh, I forgot to, this has lazy mouse on it. I need to get the lazy mouse off. It's kind of annoying, but I'll do that later. I just want some noise on there. Another good one. This might be good. Because I'm thinking about when I add scales into these areas, I don't want the scales to just look like little cutouts, like stencils. I want them to have some variation on in and of themselves, you know, like irregularities. So I kind of consider this like priming the surface, getting some nice variation on the base sculpt before I add the scales on. We're still quite a bit away from adding scales. You know, all the scales on the face are going to be hand done, most likely, in some way, shape, or form. Going to grab a quick reference. I was kind of looking forward to spending some time outside today, but it looks like it's going to be rainy. Depending on how rainy it is. Yesterday we had a thunderstorm and it completely knocked out the power. And of course I had my computer on, so It's a good thing it happened when I was like kind of wrapping up my little work session. Otherwise, I probably would have lost a good chunk of work. Great model. Will there be more from Dracovenator's concept art? Like, you mean like the drawings? Yes. I still need to finish up a couple drawings for that. Add a secret smiley face to the skin. You know, I've gotten that suggestion a few times. It could be funny. I don't know. I always worry about that kind of thing. I might hint at a little bit of a shape, though, because like this area here is probably going to be pretty keratinous. Like this brow ridge is going to be probably just keratin. So I could probably have some kind of do it. It could be kind of fun. I don't know. Maybe you know, like how like in Disneyland they have like this the hidden Mickeys around. We could either put that on the models themselves, like, you know, each model has like a little secret symbol on it if you find it, or it could just be in the world somewhere. I don't know. Maybe it's like a collectible thingy. This is kind of cool. I like that expression from the front. That sort of like, I don't know. I always like when my dinosaurs have some sort of attitude to them. I don't really like when they look super docile. You have to balance it, of course. Like every dinosaur can't look like it's mean, but I think it helps with the theropods especially. And it's like, you know, the game, the Draco is going to be hunting you, and it has the sonar sort of ability that can find you in the dark. So I feel like the menacing kind of quality should stand out a bit. You know, it can grab people and drag them, pick them up and stuff like that. So I think it's a pretty scary dino. Thanks, Mugsy. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I think he's starting to look pretty cool. I like the shape of the crest so far. It still needs some work. Like it could be curved or like adjusted just a little bit to. Almost feels like a crown, a little bit, or I don't know, some like looks like a weird Venus flytrap or something. Kind of looks a little bit alien, or a little bit demonic, depending on how you look at it. Dinosaur 55. Do you make the colors for the dinos? Sometimes. Depends. The majority of our dinosaur skins have been created by our skin artist Yaroslav. He does a really great job. He does like a ton of them, like a lot. So he always gives us a huge amount to look through. Which is really cool. I do a few. You know, I like to give my little options, you know, here and there, but I think the majority of our stuff will probably be Yaroslav's skin designs, because he's just so fast at it, and he's also very like I said, he has a lot of volume. Would love to see a book of these skins. Yeah, that would be awesome. Like if one day Echoes of Extinction did like an art book or something. That would be really fun. I love art books. I have a ton in my library. Yeah, for sure. I think that would be really sick. I'm actually expecting a couple art books. Now that you mention that, I'm kind of wondering, because I did I backed a couple of art books on Kickstarter, and I need to like check because I should be getting them soon, or I should have already got them, I think. Now I'm wondering where they are. I hope they're not lost or something, or if there was a delay maybe. I think I'm gonna dig in. I wonder. So we have a lot of spines on this guy, and I'm kind of contemplating what the best way to add them in would be. I guess I could just hand place them. Or maybe there's a more clever way to do it. That's not so maybe time consuming. should emphasize this lower eyelid a little bit more. It's kind of getting lost. This, so I need to make an adjustment to this lip here. I kind of like it when you can see the gum line above the lip. I have that in my concept. It's just that the gum line is a little bit buried down here in the mesh. We'll kind of raise that up a little bit. I'll need to move it a little bit more. Or probably move the lip down just a little bit. I also have to make sure that it'll close its mouth well. Then if we show the teeth, I think it looks pretty cool. It reminds me of, I mean, a lot of living reptiles kind of do this sort of thing, as they're like, you'll see their gum line, and you'll just see the tiniest little point of their teeth popping out from the gum line. Even though their teeth can be pretty gigantic in reality, like if you look at the skull of a Komodo dragon, and then you compare, like they have huge teeth, and then you compare it to how much of the teeth show when they have the soft tissue on, you know, when they're actually alive. It's pretty crazy, the amount of coverage the gums have. I gotta make sure that this is actually aligned to the teeth. I'll probably do a little bit. So, for those of you who were watching the Tropio sculpt, we did a lot of like interesting keratin textures on the crest of it, like kind of wear and tear, little bit of imperfection. Probably do some of that here as well. Some kind of maybe like flakiness, you know, around here somewhere. There's got to be an interesting transition between the scales here and the crest, so we have to work on that. Maybe there's just this kind of ridge that's going up these sort of ribs here. Chips and cracks look really good. Scarring or something. Yeah, something like that. It has to be kind of, it has to kind of still be generic, you know? It can't be super specific, but something just a little hint of wear and tear on here. A little bit of irregularity. I'm taking a lot of inspiration from hornbills. If you have ever taken a look at those guys, there's a lot of different species of hornbill. They have lots of different shapes of their beaks and crests, but they usually have some degree of damage to them. And they maintain them throughout their lives and stuff, but sometimes there's a little bit of, inevitably some of them have accidents and things like that, a little bit of imperfection. So I'll try to incorporate something like that maybe. That's a good idea, Smugsy. Yeah, I can do something like that too. Berserker. By the way, when will the game come out in early access? I can't live without moving grass. I can't live without moving grass when I walk through it. You know, I don't know. We don't have any ETA at the moment. All I can say is we're working really hard to get it out as soon as we can. I'm not sure about the moving grass thing, to be honest. That would be a furious question, probably. Yeah, but no, I don't know exactly, Berserker, but there's probably some technical aspect to that, like games with moving environmental elements. Like it's a balancing act, right? Like you either decide to have really good looking foliage and a lot of it, or you decide to like take some, you know, hits to like the amount and quality of the foliage to make it move. So it's like, what do we want, you know? I am assuming there is a bit of a balance there, because you're not going to have a bunch of moving foliage in the game just for free, you know. It'll take a toll on performance and stuff like that, so we have to consider all of that stuff. I'm not really sure. Are you in favor of moving grass, or are you not in favor of moving grass? What is your... I'm not really sure what you're asking. And you know, I'm not really in like, it's not a debate. It's just like, that's how it is, you know. Games are a lot of balancing. Games are a lot of give and take. You know, we want all of these cool things inside a game. We want it to have all these effects and particles and movement and all this stuff, but it costs, you know, it comes at a cost, and you have to weigh that cost out. So that's all I'm saying. Well, in that case, you know, I'm sure we'll do our best to try and get that in there, but I can't really. That's like a performance thing. That's more of a question for Furious than a question for me. So if you want to catch one of his streams and ask him about that, I would say try to look out for that and see if you can ask him. But I wouldn't expect something like that. Like, did we have it in the playtest? Were you part? You said you're part of the playtest. Because I would imagine that that's like a polish pass thing. Like, we're probably not gonna worry about that until closer to when the game releases, because it doesn't seem like that's something that's nice to have. It's not something that's absolutely necessary to be testing the game systems and stuff like that. You know, that's purely like a visual effect for immersion. Well, then if it's already in there, I wouldn't worry too much. Doesn't seem like we would take it out if it's already part of the game. I mean, are there games out there that don't have that, that don't have the foliage movement? I haven't played a ton of Well, not in a while. I haven't played a lot of dino survival games. It's been years and years since I played anything. So I don't really remember. And by the way, I'm not crazy. No, I don't think you're crazy. I'm just wondering. You're very passionate about grass movement. That's all. I'm trying to get you your answers as best as I can. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, interesting. I did not know that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I personally like when games have those sort of little touches, like you know, when your character moves, it disturbs the grass. You know, there's like little, you know, dust and particles that pop up, you know, on your feet. You know, they leave footprints, stuff that makes you feel immersed in the world, stuff that makes you feel like you have an actual impact in the world. Stuff like that is always very cool. I really appreciate when games do that. Some of the funner stuff for me is like in Monster Hunter Wilds, like if you're using a fire weapon and you do a strike on the ground or something, the fire ignites the grass and it spreads. Little things like that are really cool. Sometimes developers don't really feel like people pay attention to that sort of thing. So they'll kind of skip on it. But I really appreciate Capcom for making sure that those little details are taken into account, because I feel like it does, even if the person doesn't notice it like consciously, I feel like subconsciously it really helps to ground them in the world. So yeah, I'm glad that our game is doing, you know, trying to do that with the foliage. We haven't seen the trope. What happened? Nothing. I'm still working on Tropio. It's just I'm taking some time to work up the Draco as well. I'm responsible for multiple models, so I'm just kind of trying to keep momentum on both of those. But the Tropio is still... We'll get back to the Tropio for sure. If you had the choice, what color would you make the Dracovenator? If I had the choice, what color would I make it? You know, I'm not sure. I feel like this guy, to me, gives off more of like a I would like to probably do like a jungle skin for him. Something a little bit more saturated. Maybe something that looks a little bit toxic. Even though he's not like poisonous, I don't think, or anything like that. It's just the vibe I get, you know. Are there 2 sculptors, or is it just you? There are currently 2. Well, I think technically there are 3. There's myself, Bohuslav, and Himato. Yeah, Prince, I don't know what the question. I don't know why you feel like we should discuss that at this moment. Let's be on topic, right? Like, we're talking about games, we're talking about dinos. Trying to have a good time here. That sort of topic is not really the most comfortable thing to talk for everyone to be discussing. So I don't really think it matters in this context. Yeah, we're talking about grass. Game grass. The most beautiful of game grass. Okay, since we're talking about grass, right? What game that you've played do you think has the best foliage? Like in terms of the way it looks, the way it moves, all that stuff. What do you think is the best game you've seen so far? Rogue, will the environment be changing to accommodate the new dinosaurs, like more water for more aquatic dinos or taller foliage to cover the bigger ones hiding? I think there probably will be some adjustments. I can't confirm like 100%, but I've already seen like there's always adjustments when you add a new thing to the game that you can't really predict. So maybe things like heights or like I've already seen people adding the map makers adding new waterways and things like that. I think Furious might have talked about that in his last Q&A a little bit maybe. But I think there might be some of that. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. All right, everybody. I am nearing the end of stream. Going to wrap it up here in a second. I don't think I have any special announcements. Next stream for Echoes will be on Wednesday evening. You guys want to tune in for that? We'll see what we get up to on that stream. I do have a stream on my channel on Monday if you guys are interested in working on a creature. That's more of like my personal work stuff. So if you guys are interested and want to take a look, that stream is on Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good weekend. Thanks for being here with me today, and I will see you next time. Have a good day. Bye-bye. What time on Monday? It's 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific. Okie dokie. See you guys. Bye-bye.